But playing in the top 14, that's a different level. It's a different kind of style to Super Rugby or URC or whatever you used to hear in South Africa, Currie Cup.
Yeah,
it's very different.
Very, very, very different. It is almost like when people ask me if I try, like for me the best way to try to describe it is like and is how the French people are in their society as well. Like they embrace art more, you know, like and like liberal. I learned this word also means like free, and you can do what you want. And the approach to rugby is also like that. You know, like you if you watch the top 14 games, like it's open
French
game.
Flair.
French Flair. They are famous for that. They are known for that. And it's a difficult thing also because like for the French they can't change it because then they are no longer the French. It's what makes them special, you know. And so for me coming from playing in South Africa all my life and not to say we don't but we don't embrace the art form of the game as much as maybe the French, you know, the games are not as open. So there's not we have a little bit more
physicality,
and more structure and systems and the way we think is which we can have a long debate about it in rugby, which is the right one, but.
Hello and welcome to yet another episode of the All Rounders podcast. We are back at Loftus Versfeld and we've got one of South Africa's best rugby players in the country. This man, born in Cape Town, went through the system, Tygerberg High School, then joined Turks and the Bulls, spent some time with the Lions, the Ospreys, the Stormers. And then he decided, look, this is not enough. Let me go and chill by the beautiful beaches of Perpignan in France. He's also a World Cup winner with the Springboks in 2023. His name is Monsieur Marvin Orie.
Thank you so much.
Monsieur Marvin Orie. Did I say that right?
Yeah, Monsieur is right. Yeah, that's correct.
Is that perfect?
Yeah,
that's perfect French.
That was good. Good French. Good French.
I'm trying to learn as quickly as possible.
I'm surprised actually. It was good.
I'm speaking to somebody who knows French in and out here. So
not fluently, but I can find my way around.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Marvin, thanks for your time.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it. I mean, your journey is interesting because it's such a journey that has gone through a lot of change and a lot of places throughout your career.
Yeah.
Let's go all the way back. Cape Town, being born there. How was that for you, being born and raised in Cape Town?
Yeah, no, it was amazing. I have really good memories of my childhood.
Yep.
Of course, not perfect. Yep. Some challenges, like for many families in Bela and many communities that are similar, you know. So, but if I think of, you know, like you said, the life my parents have given myself and my siblings. I have a brother who's a year and a couple of months older than me, and a sister who's also 1 year younger. So we are quite close together.
Yeah.
So we moved together quite a lot. Myself and my brother, who had a similar group of friends, you know, throughout our childhood. We loved sport. We used to play rugby, cricket, soccer in the street. Soccer I was never really good at, but
it's great.
Exactly.
It explains your football team decisions. Can't be a Liverpool supporter and you know football. Great. And now I know why you're a Liverpool supporter.
No, actually, I was bad, but I think also, you know, how it is in the community. So soccer is the most loved, the most played sport. So we were always there. We loved and we used to. We my group of friends. We were some of the only ones who played rugby, you know. So it was good. I have really good memories, really fun memories of growing up in Cape Town, you know, and very, very grateful that it's happened or that my life has turned out this way.
Yeah. Going to Tygerberg, how did that happen for you?
Yeah, so it's actually a bit of a weird thing. I went to Tygerberg was my third high school. I went to three different high schools.
Whoa!
Believe it or not, yeah.
How?
I first went to long story short, primary school I was
Yeah.
I was in Candid Primary.
Sure.
It's a school in Bahar, and I went to Bella High in
Yes.
grade 8, but I was still 13, and
Okay.
normally you are, or everyone is 14
14, yeah.
in grade 8,
Yeah.
and I was a year younger. So I was in Bella High for grade 8, and I played club rugby because the school didn't have rugby.
Yes.
And I played club rugby. I went to the trials for Western Province, and I was selected for the under 13 Western Province Cranvic team, and that's when I got the bursary first to go to, starting from grade 9
Okay.
in HTS Bellville
Okay.
Technical High School. Yeah, so I was there from grade 9 till the middle of grade 11.
Okay.
And again, it's so weird how things have changed, and as when I made the switch,
Yeah.
to go to Tigerberg, and it's weird, like you said, my even my rugby career I've had so much change,
Yes.
and it's funny. I'm a big Christian, so I believe
Yeah.
that is, if the moves, or, and it was a lot of it was my decisions, but
Sure.
also there were a lot of things that almost not forced me, but
Yeah.
it moved me to make those change,
Sure.
those decisions, and
Yeah.
and I think had I not moved to Tigerberg,
Yeah.
potentially I would not have ended up here after
Yeah.
high school, so yeah, it's been a bit of a wild journey, but
Yeah.
I'm very happy that it's happened.
Well, Atia is not upset that you literally leaving just before you finish your grade 11.
Yeah, exactly. And I was still 16. Remember, I told you now
So
I
year
was
younger.
a year younger. Yeah.
Yeah.
So normally I was 16 and I was in the Grand Como. Funny
Yes.
enough, I was selected to go to play for Western Province in the Grand Como in 2009.
Yeah.
And we had a loaded team, the likes of Cheslin, Tikumbuza,
Yes,
not I don't know if
yes,
you know, you was in this
yes.
team. Zimasa Malungu, we had some really top
Yes.
players, and just after the Grand Como, in the start of the third semester, not semester, what do you call it? The third term in school. Beginning of the third term in grade 11, I moved to Tigerberg. So yeah, of course, I think the school, the people in the school was upset at the time, But again, there was a lot of things that happened leading up to that decision, and it was one that had to be made, even though it was very hard. And again, like I say, I'm very grateful that all the decisions that's happened in my life, in my career so far, it's turned out for the best, So yeah.
You said that you wouldn't have turned up as a professional if you didn't go to Tigerberg.
Yeah.
What was it about Tigerberg that gave you the opportunity for your rugby career?
Yeah. So I think the long and the short of it, and it sounds a bit bad, but I think it's the reality. Like the at the time, RTS was known for we had a really good cricket team, and I was playing cricket as well. So I almost felt like my rugby, because the focus or the energy that the school was, the resource that it was putting into its rugby program was not as much as the likes of Tigerberg, and it was so funny because I was in provincial under 15 cricket, and the next year I was in under 16 provincial rugby, and it almost came to a stage where I had to choose. Yeah, it's a bit complicated with cricket to get into professional setup, and for rugby was also always my first passion, my first love. So with that said, it was a bit of a easier decision to go to Tigerberg because of the resources that the school was putting into the rugby program at the time. And again, how I ended up here through Tigerberg High School, we came to play a one of those, this Easter festivals that the school host, and back then we came to play here at Waterkloof with Tigerberg, and there were a few schools. I can't remember exactly who was all there, but we came to play here during the Easter time. And at the time it was under, to his credit, under Jans van Rensburg, together with Ian Swartz and
Yes.
Heineke, who was doing the recruitment, and Zander, because he later that year he saw me in the Kremlin, was also
Yes.
selected for Western Province Kremlin, and he said to me the first time he saw me was in this tournament.
Yeah.
So then it was, I don't know, coincidence or whatever. He saw me again in the Kremlin, and he approached me to come here. So again, if it was not probably for that tour with Tigerberg High School, you know, potentially it could not have happened. So yeah, I'm stoked for how it turned out.
Yeah, in Cape Town, it's a weird thing. Like in the Eastern Cape, and I'm from the Eastern Cape. There's a clear division. Like, you know, the border schools are these ones.
Yeah.
The Eastern Province schools are these ones.
Yes.
In Cape Town, the Western Province schools can come from PAL.
Yeah.
I don't understand that.
Yeah. To be honest with you, me neither. Remember I said to you, I used to play cricket as well.
Yes.
And like how it works in cricket, the likes of Paul Roos, the PAL schools, the two big schools in PAL, which is
Gem and
they play in Boland cricket, and but in rugby they play under Western Province. So it's a bit weird. It was also something that we couldn't figure out, you know. So, but yeah, I think from a rugby perspective, it's good for Western Province, you know, to have because those are the top rugby schools in Cape Town. So, it is a bit weird, but and also Steigerberg is in the northern suburbs of Cape Town, so we never really competed because I think, like you said, they are in a different league than what we were. So it was always harder also to get into the Western Province rugby team because you're competing against those schools, you know.
Moving to Pretoria then. Coming from, you know, Bella, Tigerberg, how was that shift for Marvin Orie coming from, you know, a relatively comfortable environment, coming to the north where you know almost nobody here and you have to survive?
It was hard. Exciting,
you
know, because I was now, like I said to you earlier, the reality for not just for me, for where I come from in the community, the reality of the challenges you face economically. It was exciting to know that there's there's gonna be an income from. When I was 17, I think. When I matriculated, I was 17, and when I arrived there, I was still 17. I turned 18 in that year, in my first year. So I was young. It was my first time going out of the house, like you say. My brother's a bit older than me. My younger sister, we were always together. Blessed to have both my parents still in the house, you know. So now I went from that all the way to here by myself, you know, having to now make decisions by myself, you know, having to now look after myself. It was exciting and it was challenging as well, but also necessary. You know, I don't think had I moved out of the house at that stage in my life, I would be the person I am today. You know, because I'm sure everyone knows there are some lessons you can only learn when you are outside of your comfort zone in life, and yeah, I'm very grateful for the opportunity to have come here at a young age, you know, being able to contribute back home as well. Those were some important milestones or important times in my life, not just for rugby, as a person as well.
Talking about that, how young were you then when you received your first paycheck?
So, again, that was in January of that year. So I matriculated in 2010, so 2011. January of that, it was so funny because I didn't even have a bank account because you know our parents, when your mom dad gives you money, they give you whatever. Not even, because it was not that much, you know. So before I came, my mom, I remember this. I think it was about a week or so before I came. So my mom, I can't remember if my dad went with, but we went to go and open a bank account.
Okay.
And of course it was exciting, you know. I don't know what's happening. My mom, normally your parents are the ones with the bank card. They go to the ATM, they get whatever. So now I have to get my own bank account and everything. So in the January of that first year, I was still 17. I turned 18 in February. So it was good. It was good when that first paycheck landed.
Like you can see it in your account.
Exactly. It was not a lot, but I was not used to that kind
Yeah,
of
I
money
get
as
you,
well,
yeah,
because
yeah.
like I said now,
Yeah.
my parents used to give us, but they don't give us crazy money, you know.
Yeah.
So, and now I'm getting a paycheck, and I have so much more than what I've been used to, you know.
Yeah.
So, but now also, like I said, I have to be now smart. I can't just be too excited because I have to cook for my.
Yeah.
Luckily, the Bulls were good. Even now, still they provide food for the juniors throughout the week. So only weekends. But again, you have to be smart. You maybe, you know, as a young, sometimes you go to KFC or whatever, and in the
You want to
weekends,
spend that
yeah.
money.
So I had to learn to be smart, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was good times.
Yeah. Coming to Tuks then, and
Yeah.
having to play, get through the junior structures there, the Bulls, and
Yeah.
then going varsity cup.
Yeah.
How was that for you in terms of your development and your growth as a player, playing varsity cup?
Yeah. No, that was important as well, and that year of I played for Tuks for 2 years.
Yeah.
The first year was in the Young Guns in 2012.
That's the first Young Guns crop,
Yeah,
right?
I don't know if
Maybe
it was
it was
the
like
first.
2011,
Yeah,
2012.
but it was
there,
either the first or second.
Yeah.
It was around there. So that it was introduced. So and it was a lot of us from here because at the time Bulls had a good relationship with the University of Pretoria, and and it was a lot of us, really good experience. You experience a little bit of student life, you know, not really, because we are young professionals or aspiring professionals coming here, train every day, we eat whatever, and then we have a bit of that varsity taste with it, you know, we play against other universities, so it was quite good. And then that second year, in 2013, when I was 20 years old, playing for Tuks, it was a really good experience. We had a really strong team as well. I think we smashed Stellenbosch in the final. I don't remember the score, but that final for me was, I had emotions on what is the correct English term, on the opposite. You know, I experienced the most incredible high, because in my career, till date, I was part of the 2012 group that won the under 20 World Cup in Cape Town. But I didn't play a single match, so it wasn't. But in that varsity cup campaign, I think I played in all the games, you know. So, and we ended up winning it. So it was big for me. Varsity cup was big. It still is big in South Africa at the time, you know. So, and then in that match, I think it was just under 20 minutes. I broke my leg, you know. So it was a really hard experience for me, because at the time I think I was so focused on rugby and trying to make it work, you know, that almost all my energy and almost my life was determined by it, you know. And then that happened, and you know, I've broke my leg, potentially can never play again, you know. So it was a necessary learning curve for me, how even though it was very hard, but it was necessary in hindsight, you know, because I also some important lessons, not just for rugby, outside of rugby, that I had to learn during those, that I was out for about a year, I think, in total. So but yeah, back to the rugby, playing in Tuks, it was incredible. The varsity cup, even now, the you know, the stadium was full all the time.
It's always packed.
Exactly, one of my best experiences was going to UJ, and I don't know, it was, and I remember the what is it, PE, NMMU. I remember them having at the time, that Howard Mnisi. You remember Howard Mnisi?
Timagava.
Yeah, Timagava. I don't remember. I know. I remember Howard, because he was the star. I think he won like backline player of the year that season or whatever. So but apart from the rugby, the atmospheres at UJ and NMMU specifically, it was incredible. And it was actually the first time also that I experienced the Sister Bettina song. You know how they play for South Africa, and it was in UJ.
The second anthem.
South Africa, and it was so funny, because I think for all South Africans, if you even when I was playing for the Springboks one match in Ellis Park, and we sing the national anthem, and you're so high, and you motivate, you on the plane, and then just after they play, and I think it's like an instinct. You want to dance, but also you have to stay focused.
Serious in the moment. Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was my first time experiencing that,
Sure.
and they were playing the song in UJ Stadium, and the crowd was going crazy, and I could see it. We had Bongi Monami at the
Yes.
time, also part of the group, and you can see amongst the guys they want
to-
they want to do something, but of
Yeah.
course you have to stay focused, So yeah, I had really good experiences during my varsity cup rugby days, and very grateful that it's happened.
I had to look at that side.
Yeah.
Star-studded.
Yeah.
Yourself, Henry Pollard,
Yes.
Bongi Mbonambi,
Yes.
Courtney Khosan,
Yes.
I remember.
Yes.
Yaakov Isaghi.
Yes.
He played for the
Exactly.
Lions.
Yes. Still now, captain.
Still now, yeah. That's crazy talent in one side.
It was. I was talking to one of the young guys in the Bulls group the other day as well. Paul Willems, I think he played 2 or 3 games for us during that campaign as well, and he was playing like super rugby for the Bulls. And then a week or 2 later, he was playing on a Monday. He's playing varsity cup, So it was. Yeah, we had a really good team. Credit to Coach Nolas to get all of that talent together. But just also like as a rugby experience where it was fun, not saying rugby is fun at this level that we are playing now, but it's a lot more serious, at Varsity Cup it was fun, and we had a top team. It's always better when you're winning as well. So good experience, good memories, man.
2012, I mean, you mentioned the fact that you were part of that under 20 side that won the Junior Rugby World Championship. It's funny actually because this year was the first time since then that South Africa won the Junior World Championship.
Yeah, crazy.
Even though you didn't play a game, how was that experience being part of that group with Stephen Kitsoff? I think Peter Stephen Dutoy was also there.
He was a lucky.
Andre Pollard is there. Sean Ardendorf was there. How was that experience for you being in that side?
Yeah, it was special. It was definitely special, and of course, with it being in Cape Town, and I'm from Cape Town, even though I was playing, I was here for 2. That was my 11, 12 years, my second year here in Pretoria. But going back is home. We had the World Cup there, and being involved in the national team, and all of the talent on the field. Some really good guys off the field as well.
Sure.
So yeah, it was a fantastic experience. And it's a difficult one for me because remember, of course I said to you, I didn't get to play, and that was the support again. Is you experience really good emotions, by winning and whatever, but you feel like you didn't
contribute to,
what I mean. And so it was and I remember it was actually so funny. Jonathan, not funny, it's a serious moment actually with Jonathan McQueen. You guys know me, he also does a lot of work for, and he was our team manager at the time, and our second match was of the World Cup was played at what is it called, the UWC, at UWC Stadium, and Belhar, I don't know if you know Cape Town. It's like where I grew up, where my parents still live now. It's a stone's throw to the stadium, So this was like the match that I was looking forward to so much, to be able to get onto the field and have all my family there, and that disappointment of not being selected, it was really hard for me. And again, credit to Jonathan. He was probably the one who kept me calm and tried to make me understand or whatever. Because when you're young, I was 19 at the time. I was doing it. Yeah, exactly. And so it was that was the tough part. But of course, thereafter, you get over it, and it's not about you, it's about the team, and ended up going all the way. So all in all, really good experience.
Fast forward, and then you sort of play for the Bulls, and that goes well. What were the things that from that experience, from the Junior World Championships, that you took from the disappointment? Then I said, okay, I'm going to bring it back to the Bulls and try and make sure that my career doesn't end up in that way, that I don't experience too many of those disappointing moments, and that I can really make a big career out of rugby.
Yeah, it's hard, and I think also one of the important lessons that again like we discussed now of not being selected. I've learned also at the time that during failure,
Sure.
you know, is normally when you not failure when you or in a rugby context when you're not selected, you know,
Sure.
or and maybe when you're injured, that is normally when you get to learn a lot about yourself, when your character is revealed and things like that. So you spend a lot of time by yourself, you know, figuring out how to deal with that disappointment. And again, like I told you, for me, it was it was new, because not new, but it was a bit unfamiliar territory, because I was 18 years old when I first came here, and competing against 19-year-olds, you know, in the under 19 Currie Cup. I played all the games that year, you know, so I was used to playing all the time, and we were actually the top team in the under 19 Currie Cup that year, even though we lost to the final in the final to the Lions. But we had a really good team, and I was playing every week, even though I was a year younger, you know. So I was going really well, and then the next season, then something like that happens, you know. So I think it was a again, in hindsight, important lesson for me to learn that things are not always gonna go your way, you know, in rugby, in life, and like how you deal with it and how you come back from that, you know. And I think it contributed definitely to my drive to achieve more, you know, like what you're saying, to not and it's not to say, because I definitely in my career I was many times not involved in teams and not being selected, but just to keep that hunger, that professionalism, you know, to know that. Also for me, I said funny enough, I said we discussed with the Currie Cup group, is something we talk about all the time, but rugby as a like the sport in general, you know, is known as a team sport. It's like soccer as well, you know. Cricket is a bit different, also team, but the one who's batting is by himself, the one who's bowling is by, you know what I mean. But in rugby, you need your team, you know what I mean. So so it's also one of the things that I'm glad about rugby, like how the group pulls you in, you know, and look how you can talk. Some guys have had similar experience, and you learn how to deal with it. Maybe sometimes you do something outside of the game to maybe forget about it and then help you to get over it. So yeah, I think it's definitely contributed to my drive to achieve more in my career after.
Would you describe yourself as somebody that has developed later in your career, or because when you look at your career and some of the peers that your peer group, they, I mean, went on to graduate and play for senior Springboks a little bit quicker than you did. I think you made your debut at 2018.
2018, yeah.
And by that time, you know, guys like Steven Kitsoff and Andre Pollard, who you've played with, your lock partner at school, even Etzebeth, he was nearing 100 caps.
Crazy.
Would you think that, you know, would you call yourself somebody that developed a little bit later in your career?
Yeah, it's a difficult. I have to be.
You still develop.
Yeah, I have to be wise. I think skills, maturity wise. And again, I don't want it might sound like I'm stepping on toes of things, but I think maturity wise, again, like I explained to you, I was young. I was 18, and my peers was 19. Since I finished, you know, so I was always young, and I was thrown into the deep end, even in Tuks in the Varsity Cup. I think me and Handra at the time, I might be wrong, but he was, of course, I think he's 1 year. Is he a year younger than me? Yeah, he's 1 year. He's 1 year younger than me, and Fasage is a year older than me actually. But I think myself and Handra, we were the youngest in that group, who went on to win the Varsity Cup. And so I've been used to, you know, I was young, but I was playing with older guys, you know. So from a maturity perspective, was I a late developer? I don't think so. I think I had a and without trying to seem like, you know, but vain or whatever, I think I've had a cool head on me always, you know, regarding my job. But physically, I think it was only until I went to the Lions that I really developed, you know, and I learned some some lessons as well there, and credit also at the time to I think it was Coach Weiss and Cash was doing the SNC, and Coach Ackerman also he was there, so that's also where I learned that I had to make some changes physically to be ready, and the first year in Johannesburg was tough as well, but necessary, and then in the second year 2018 I ended up also playing almost all the games, doing well, getting selected for the Springboks for the first time, so yeah, it was I'd say late development now, maturity wise, but maybe physically I think those lessons that I learned in Johannesburg in that first year was important for me.
The move then from the Bulls to the Lions, what was that decision? How did that decision come about?
Yeah, so it was a bit of a weird one, because at the time, 2016 was the year I left the Bulls. My last match for the Bulls was actually in the Currie Cup final of 2016 against the Cheetahs, and we ended up losing that game. So it was many things that contributed to that. The Bulls in that Super Rugby season, I think I played I didn't play in all the games. I did play, I think, maybe 9 of the however many round robin games there are, and it also was at the point where I could see probably I'm not gonna get to play a lot of games in the next season, and the Lions was always determined, even 2 years before I signed an extension with the Bulls when I was still 21, the Lions also were asking, so they were always eager, and I think with the situation and with the Lions being eager, it just made sense, and I decided to take the leap, and it was again the first season it was hard, because I also got there and didn't play, so you almost ask yourself, but you come here to play, and I'm not, you know what I mean? So that first year was hard but necessary, and then some tough lessons, and I had to take those learnings and try to improve as a person, as a player, and I think it's put me in good stead.
I think what made it also tougher is because the Lions at that time were in the transition phase, having come back from that hiatus from Super Rugby, now coming back into the competition and trying to really re-establish themselves in the competition. What were some of the conversations that you had with Coach Swayze, Coach Johan Ackerman, Cash now, who's the head
who's the head coach of the Lions? So I think that 2016 was the first year the Lions made the Super Rugby final win, and I think they lost to the Hurricanes. I'm not exact 100% sure. And then the following year, 2017, which was my first year, we lost to the Crusaders in the final, and I think it was Coach Akker's last year, and it was also at the time the Lions was the best team in South Africa. They were smashing everyone, all the local teams, and in an established team, and I think at the time that group was together for at least 3 years, and with the addition of 1 or 2 every season, and normally in a successful team that has been together for long with the same coaches, the coach won't easily change this, and it's understandable. It's like tampering with something that's working, and
it's like Anna's not coming in, not changing what
exactly, not changing. Exactly. Ended up winning the Premier League, So again, like I said, understandable. The group was together at the time. Franco Mostert, he was playing in my position, and he was already a Springbok, and I was not yet a Springbok, so it was hard. But again, like I said, for me as well, and till this day, I always say to guys, and I've said it to Sousa as well. I learned so much from him, because I thought when I was here in the Bulls, and it's also a different style, like the way the Bulls play. Or at the time, the way the Bulls played, and the way the Lions played. The Lions played with an incredible intensity, and I believe that's what got them into
those finals.
Exactly, those finals, and like I always thought, like I was fit, because even I was always one of the fittest. And when I got there, I saw a different level of fitness. You know what I mean? And I realized I have, you know what I mean? And it was incredible. So those were, and again, like I said, had I not Kande, I would not have seen like what it takes to
Sure.
to be in the at the time in the finals and but never mind that, just like a general level of what it takes to be successful. And I think the Lions, to the credit at the time with Coach Akkers, Coach Swayze and Cash and all the other coaches that were there, they had a winning recipe. They had a hardworking group, and I had to catch up to that group, and eventually when I did, I ended up doing okay,
2 finals,
yeah.
2 losses.
But the Lions,
Yeah.
3.
Yeah, I mean, your first year was 2017, right?
27. Oh yeah, for me, I didn't play in that final,
yeah.
but the next year I did. Yeah, so I played in the third final, the third and the
How
last
heartbreaking was that?
It was bad. It was sad. It was very disappointing. But in 2018 especially, I think at the time we went to Crusaders, and I don't know if the Lions has ever won a game in
Christchurch.
in Christchurch against the Crusaders. Not even the Lions, not many other of the Super Rugby teams win there, So we knew we were going to be up against it, So but we had like, because of course like I said, we had a like also a certain level of confidence, going into the game, and I really think we had a really good shot. But it was at the time the Crusaders also, All Black laden. They had a lot of or current All Blacks at the time in that team. So it was I think it was a difficult task in that specific context. But also, of course, it's sad in any final, and Super Rugby is at the time the pinnacle, apart from the Springbok. So that was disappointing.
Tough that. I mean, you heard stories that like as soon as you land, people already tell you that you're going to lose to the Crusaders and to Christchurch. Like it's a very hostile environment.
Exactly.
Also.
Indeed. Yeah. You spot them from the airport all the way to the people in. And I think the rugby culture in New Zealand is one that, like, everyone in the town is so
invested in it.
Invested, and they know, like, normally sometimes if you play match here, I don't know, now in the URC, maybe like not everyone in Pretoria would even know the Bulls are playing, but in Christchurch at the time, everyone knows the not even just for the final, like for any round robin game, the Lions or whatever foreign team is there, and like what you say, they make it known we are the Crusaders. Your record here, and so but those are all things that I think it builds up and it makes a good spectacle of the match, and as a player, I think you like that because it almost enlightens that competitive nature in you, to try to do your best in the game. So
Springbok debut, I think it's against Wales.
Yes.
In Chicago?
In Washington.
Washington.
Exactly.
I mean, how proud of a moment was that for not just for you, but for your family? I mean, you speak about your family having supported you so much since you were a youngster, but also outside of them, the community of Bella also to say, if Marvin can, anybody can from here.
Yeah. It's one of us, So now it was a really, really incredible experience, and until this day, like I always said, like I've had 3 times in my life, and no, it's also because it make like you love this one more, whatever. So it was always hard to say, but when I was 13, when I for the first time I got to get my jersey for because it's the famous the blue and the white, and that was an incredible experience. And I think also from that moment on, I knew like life was going to change, and it did change because now you go to a different school. There's there's a potential opportunity to make this your job after school. So that feeling that I felt that day, I felt again when I was here at the Bulls when I was under 19, and it's also a bit weird because at the time the Currie Cup started in June, I think June or July when I just started out. So for that first 5-6 months of the year, when you arrive here as a junior, you train, you run. We had Coach Paul Anthony was the coach, and I'm sure everyone will tell you, he used to drill us. So for that 6 months you work really hard, you
Yeah.
know, and then you finally get to pull over that jersey.
Yeah.
And also the Bulls was a team I never thought I would play for, even at school. And then
Were you always a Western Province man?
I was always, at school. I always said, because you know, I was 13, you always go to crib and say, you can look at these guys. So no, I don't want to play for them, you know, I want to play for Western Province. Yeah, but yeah, and then the next time, so those 3 occasions when I got the Springbok jersey as well, and it's a pinnacle, man. Like in our careers, in our life, in our careers, there's nothing higher. You know, you can Springboks, and then the best you can do in the Springbok jersey is to go and maybe compete in the World Cup, and you know, to try to win it or whatever. So to know that I've reached the, you know, it was incredible, and of course a proud moment as well. And I think what made it more special, I have uncles who used to play rugby as well, and that is how I ended up playing rugby, because my dad never played. So my uncles used to play for Bella Rugby Club, you know, and as kids we would always not as kids, as a family, because my mom's brothers, and we would always go to support them and play rugby behind the poles with the other kids, and that's how I got into rugby. So for whatever reasons, you know, it's a reality of the past of South Africa. You know, they never had my uncles, and it's funny. I will always say that, like with any other, you know, what people who used to play rugby back, you know, soccer or whatever, they always say, we could have.
We were the best. We could have played for the Springboks, and we were better than you.
Exactly.
Yeah, I get that family feud.
Yeah, you know, so and not just them, like all the people in the club, they will always say, if not for this and this, so, and you know, we would never know, because there was challenges. It's a fact. The history of South Africa and South African rugby is complicated, and so they never had that opportunity. So for me to eventually to finally to make it, you know, it was special, and I think it was a proud moment, 100% for me and for my family as well.
Moving to the Stormers, this I think now becomes another dream for you to actually go back home and play for your home franchise. Getting a first opportunity to be able to do that outside of playing junior provincial rugby. How proud of a moment was that, going to the Stormers and playing there, and what was the decision behind the move to go to the Stormers?
Yeah, no, that was probably one of the easiest decisions I had to make in my career. Yeah, no, and it was so weird, and for a lot of reasons, like with my style of play, and you know, like I was, and some things that has happened in the past between the Bulls and Western Province. At the time, I was playing for the Lions, and the coach at the time is still the coach of the Stormers was John. And he called me and was like, I want you to come. And his first words to me was, he said, I never thought I would make this call. And I said, Coach, I also never expected a call from you, to be honest, you know. And then from there on, he just said, whatever, you know. And I ended up going to Cape Town. And again, like I said, it is when I was young, and I was always a supporter of Western Province, you know, the Stormers, and at the time as well, the Stormers had a really strong squad. They weren't winning, but they had a really strong squad, and I thought, like, there's a potential for me not just to potentially try and win something or to make the group successful, but to also try to improve my level as well, because you know what it's like when it was a little bit of a similar feeling when I moved to the Lions, because the Lions was a really, you know, established, successful group, hard-working group, and not saying the Stormers were not, but they didn't have the success yet, you know, and but the talent was there, 100%. The talent was there. So, and I just, you know, at the time was Kitso Bongi was there, and for me to as a second row to be playing with a guy like Bongi in the front rows, coming behind France, and I thought this is the
dream.
You know what I mean?
This is established internationals.
Exactly.
Well, you know?
This is what you want. I'm gonna learn so much, and it was a good experience, in Cape Town for the 2 seasons.
I don't want to say it was the heartbreak of missing out of 2019 squad. But was there anything that said to you, maybe I missed out on 2019 being able to go to Japan and play for the Springboks at the World Cup?
Disappointing, but again at the time I was only on three caps. My third cap was the last match before the group flew over to Japan for the World Cup. So I was only on three caps. And I think it's natural. You have that hope that there's a chance. But even though how slim it might be, and but in hindsight I had 3 games. I wasn't playing a lot. I wasn't playing, what was I playing? I was in Lions, and it was my first year, 2018 was my first full year of playing in, being in the starting lineup of one of the Super Rugby teams and playing all the games. So they were. I knew 2019 was going to be a fast stretch, but with the eye on 2023, I knew I'm going to try to give it my all, I'm really grateful and happy that it turned out the way it did.
Yeah. Going to a World Cup.
Yeah.
I mean, that's... Can you equate it to 2012 when you were part of that Junior World Championship squad? Was it the next level?
It's the other level, yeah.
Yeah.
Remember I said to you, when you for a rugby player, the best you can do is first to make the national team. Yeah. Then thereafter is to go to the World Cup. Yeah. It's a pinnacle. It's an absolute pinnacle, and it was incredible, man. When I found out for the first time, I was emotional. I called my wife now, my partner. I called my parents. It was an incredible feeling, and to know that I'm gonna go. It was actually funny.
Where were you when you received the call?
We were it wasn't like how they do for the British and Irish Lions. We were actually together in where was it, in a farm here in Johannesburg, actually somewhere. And the coach did the same in 2019. Coach Rashi, with how we announced the group, because they always do it internally first. Told us that, like, with the team announced, the guys, of course, the team knows first who will play. So I think it was a few days or so before they made it public, announced the squad publicly. So we were on a farm here in Johannesburg. I don't remember exactly where, and he got the group. I don't also remember, but it was a bigger group, so there were like a lot of guys who didn't make it, So he did it like by PowerPoint.
Yes.
I think he did it by position, like the props, and I'm sitting there and I'm waiting. Okay, when is it and
it comes quickly though.
Yeah, exactly.
It goes 1, 2, 3. Then you are ready at 4 and 5.
Yeah, I think that is how he did it. And when you had the Lux and I saw my name there, it was incredible, man. Yeah, and it was also again a bit of a. I remember I said that mixed emotions that I had. I was so happy for myself, but then there were guys that I became really close with that missed out, and I don't have to say, but those guys, and it's really is again. Remember I said to you in 2012 when I was in the group, and it's a cool thing about rugby. You get to know some of the guys on a personal level, and some guys who went through similar things that you did, and you almost move together and learn how to you
navigate those things.
You almost pull one another in, and I was happy for myself, but then quickly you try to console and comfort the guys who were not there, who were not in the final group. So but incredible feeling, man, to know you are going to represent South Africa in the World Cup. Incredible.
So much so that you decided to just stay in France.
It was a very, very weird thing. Like how because it happened so quickly, man. Like the France move. I was one moment I was playing for the Stormers in the what is it?
Did you even come back with the trophy?
No, I didn't.
You stayed.
I stayed. I stayed with my family, my wife and my kids. My oldest was 3 at the time, and my youngest was just born. He was 3 months. What was it? What month? He was born in June. So he was maybe 3-4 months at the time. So because they came towards the end of the round robin for the World Cup, they came to watch our match in Tonga, and I'm so happy, you know, because my they will probably never remember, but we have some footage of them, and they got to see me play for South Africa in the Rugby World Cup, you know, which is the pinnacle for us, and I'm grateful about that. So but yeah, we made the decision, myself and my wife, to stay and go directly to the club after the World Cup. So yeah, it was 100% the right decision, also for our family at the time, and we missed out on the, you know,
the parade.
Yeah, but it is what it is.
How was Perpignan? Because I mean, we've spoken off camera about how the experience was, it environmentally, very beautiful place to live. But playing in the top 14, that's a different level. It's a different kind of style to Super Rugby or URC or whatever you used to hear in South Africa. Currie Cup. It's very different.
Very, very, very different. It is almost like when people ask me if I try, like, for me the best way to try to describe it is like and is how the French people are in their society as well. Like they embrace art more, you know, like and like liberal. I learned this word also means like free, and you can do what you want, and the approach to rugby is also like that. You know, like you if you watch the top 14 games, like it's open
French
game.
Flair.
French Flair. They are famous for that. They are known for that, and it's a difficult thing also, because like for the French, they can't change it, because then they are no longer the French. It's what makes them special, you know, and yeah. So for me, coming from playing in South Africa all my life, and not to say we don't, but we don't embrace the art form of the game as much as maybe the French, you know. The games are not as open, so there's not, we have a little bit more
physicality,
you know, and more structure and systems, and the way we think is which we can have a long debate about it in rugby, which is the right one, but yeah, I think it was a good experience. It was, when I just arrived, it was new, and it was almost like a shock to the system, you know. Like arrived, and also I was at the time with the national team, with the Springboks, we like system-wise the best in the world at the time, the world champions, you know. So, and now we come to the club, and there was, you know, like that systems, and like that was not there, you know. So and then it took me a while to learn that this is how it's going to be. It's not going to change. You have to embrace it, you know. And like I said as well, you can't expect of the French to change, because they are no longer, you know,
identity.
They lose their identity. So when I started to embrace that, and then I started to enjoy the games, you know, you started to understand the way they think, and that's when it started to become enjoyable, you know. And the language was like I said to you earlier, the language was the biggest obstacle for me in my first year, and not just in, like, outside of rugby. It was hard as well.
Societally,
you know,
trying
you
to blend in.
Exactly, you go to a restaurant, even going to a store, something, you go in a Checkers or Pick and Pay, like the stores in and you're trying to look for something, and you don't know the you know, and all the brands are different, so you know what milk is the right milk, and you have to be sometimes with Google Translate, you know. Not sometimes, all the time. So it was, but once I started to understand, and like I went to a lot of French lessons, and I almost put myself outside of my comfort zone, try to learn from the guys when they speak. I try to hear always what they're saying, and try to understand. And once I could start to understand a bit more, then it started to become enjoyable.
Yeah. And what lessons did you take from that? I mean, 2 years of being in France, and maybe from a rugby point of view, and probably from a personal point of view, if you can try and find you know, sort of ways to describe what lessons you got from France.
Yeah, so the biggest one was to embrace the art more, the art side of rugby, and I think if you were to put the approach to rugby in a pie, and you try to, like, quantify it and say percentage wise how much art and how much science, the French are definitely more on the art side than the science side, and whereas I think in us and even with the Springboks, with the foreign coaches that they brought in, they brought a lot of, like, a science mentality, which was necessary, and it increased the Springboks. It made them to a different level. So for me the biggest lesson in France was to embrace it,
Sure.
you know, and to see that it can work, because the French clubs, even
Yeah.
with how what is dear Makar in English, like what
Confused.
with
Yeah.
how confusing or
Yeah.
you know, the games look not confusing, like it looks messy, you
Yeah.
know, because you see the ball falling on the
Yeah.
ground and there's not like a structure.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
and there's a part of rugby that, or not a part, there's a what is the correct word now, but there's still a place in rugby for that. Let me
Yes.
put it like
Yeah,
this, you
yeah.
know, and it shows with the success that the French clubs are having
Sure.
in the European competitions,
Yeah, yeah.
even currently with Toulouse.
Bordeaux, and
Yeah,
Toulouse,
with the, and you know, wow, what amazing the rugby does Bordeaux play, you know,
Yeah.
and they embrace the art. So the biggest lesson for me was to embrace that more, you know, and not be too rigid on trying to do the systems and trying to do the structures, you know, because the art can work as well, and which the French clubs clearly show. So yeah, I'd say rugby was the biggest lessons. And so then outside of rugby, yeah, like the French society is also very different, you know, like I think it's like a more of a culture difference. Yeah, it was good. I loved every month. I think my wife loved it. My kids loved it. I think in the French school, my oldest, I think he struggled a little with the language as well.
Yes.
In school, it was hard for him. For a long part, it was very hard for him.
Yeah.
But when he also started to understand, you know,
Yes.
he started to be, and we could see there was a change in his behavior. You know, he was more excited to go to school.
Yeah.
And yeah, but I prefer the, you know, culturally and society. Even though we have a lot of challenges in South Africa, for South Africa is still home. Is still my preference. Yeah.
Last two questions. Your last cap, Tonga 2023 at the World Cup. You haven't played since then for the Springboks. Do you still harbor ambitions? I mean, it might be a rhetorical question, but do you still harbor ambitions of getting back into the national side?
100%, and I still believe I have what it takes to play in this level, in that level. So yeah, of course, until I stop playing, I will never, you know, lose the ambition to want to play at the highest level. Like I said to you, there's nothing higher. You know, you want to, because otherwise, what's the point of you know, of doing it? You might as well stop and try to have a change of career anyway. So yeah, I still have a burning desire to hopefully. And will it happen or not? I don't know. Am I gonna try 100%? Yeah.
Last question, and we've spoken about. I mean, you made reference a lot to your family, both your parents, your uncles, and you know how you grew up. Having a family of your own, how has that been? You know, sort of important for you in your career and your life, seeing your kids grow, having a wife, doing a life with your own immediate family.
Yeah. For me, and I'm very blessed, very lucky to have had, like, our family are quite close, you know, like I said to my uncles, and they almost taught me up until I was in school. Because then obviously after school you come to, you know, profession where you have like high performance coaches. But in school my uncles were my coaches.
They were the coaches.
Yeah, exactly. Like 100%. My one uncle, he was because we played the same. Like both of them played lock, but there's a big difference between the locks and the one who plays in the same position I play. He was always the one who was like what you're saying, giving advice next to the field. And 100%. After the game, he'd be asking, why did you do that? Why are you guys doing that? And you have to explain to him. Even till this day, like, you know, because now it's different, and he played rugby a long time ago, and the game keeps changing. But why are you guys doing this? And I have to explain to him. But yeah, I'm grateful for that, man. I'm very, very grateful for that. For my parents, I don't think till this day we're playing a match in Wellington this weekend, and they will be there. My parents, because it's in the Western Cape, they will be there. You know, 3 weeks ago we played in Cape Town, they were there. So whenever they can, playing for the Stormers, they came to every match. Even the Bulls, when we play in Cape, they came sometimes to come watch me here, even in South Africa. My wife as well, incredible now with kids. So my family to me is the most important thing in my life, you know, 100%, no doubt about that. my kids. It's a blessing from God. So I'm grateful for them. I'm grateful for the health, for my wife, and how she was at the moment. She's also alone with the kids in Cape Town, you know, and she's doing an incredible job. Luckily, my parents are there, my in-laws are there, you know, so there is a little bit of help. So yeah, so to me, families is they once that changes, then I don't think it's a good thing, you know. So it's the most important thing for me.
Marvin Orie, thanks for your time. Really appreciate it. All the best. I mean, still 32. There's so much to still achieve, not just here at the Bulls, but also for South Africa. So we wish you all the best with that. Really looking forward to how the next chapter and this chapter here at the Bulls unfolds for you, and hopefully more Springbok caps.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for having me. It was a pleasure to share a bit of my story to you guys. And thank you, man. I appreciate all wishes.
Pleasure. Thank you very much. As always, please like, subscribe, and of course comment on all of our content on the All Rounders podcast on YouTube. Please, we need those subscriptions a little bit higher, and of course on all our social media platforms. And we will see you on the next episode of the All Rounders podcast. Thank you very much.